Jamie Lee
What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and the Oscars were last night, and no one really seems to care. I mean, did any of you all even watch the Oscars? Let me know down in the comments below. I know I didn't. I did not waste my time on that. I was too busy making videos, but I did follow social media's response to the Oscars, if you will. Like, I saw certain clips, but what stuck out to me is that no one this year was really talking about the acceptance speeches. No one was really talking about anything about the Oscars this year except one thing and one thing only. Everyone is talking about Angela Bassett's response or reaction to Jamie Lee Curtis winning Best Supporting Actress. And I mean, the conversations are spreading like wildfire online. Everyone has a hot take about this situation, and so do I. Now, for the record, I really like Angela Bassett, or it's hard for me to say I really like anyone in Hollywood right now, but as an actress, I like Angela Bassett. I've followed Angela Bassett throughout her career. She always, or usually for the most part, brings her A game. A phenomenal actress. And this video isn't really as much about Angela Bassett's reaction to not winning that award, although there's a conversation to be had around it. Some people might say that she was acting entitled, and I would not deny that. But also, I think what we have to realize is Angela Bassett is responsible for her own reaction in that moment, but she's not responsible for other people's reaction to her reaction, right? So this video isn't as much about Angela's reaction in that moment. It's more so about social media and our society's response to this little situation, if you will. Now, yeah, she could have definitely acted better, right? I mean, she's an actress. You could have at least acted happy for Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, maybe she should have stood up and clapped her hands. I think we all could agree that she could have handled the situation more gracefully. But also, I think we need to keep in mind that Jamie Lee Curtis, in many ways, and the other people nominated for this award were in ways her competition. And you know, when you're at an award show and you're really hyped and you're hoping you win and you lose, of course, sometimes that can be devastating for people. Or of course, you're not necessarily going to be happy about it. Angela Bassett is human. I understand that the right and cordial thing to do is to stand up and clap and smile with everyone else, but I think she's entitled to her right to be disappointed in that moment. I would have been disappointed in that moment. You would have been disappointed in that moment. So my gripe isn't as much with Angela Bassett as it is with our current society, or the current narratives that are spun by a certain portion of our society. Because you see, it only took about 30 seconds for people to turn this into a racial thing. You know, they had to do it. Of course they had to do it. They couldn't be happy for Jamie Lee Curtis. They had to make it a racial thing. And you know what? This is a problem we're going to keep dealing with if we keep allowing this identity politics and this mentality to spread throughout our society. Now, if a minority or a person who has, if a minority or a gay person or someone who isn't straight, if you will, if they're nominated for something and they lose, there's always going to be an outcry of, oh, it's because of the racist or the phobics. And that's what we're dealing with here. Never again in the history of our world, if we keep going down this path with this identity politics, you know, this social justice narrative, if we keep going down this path, we're going to have this situation time and time again. I had conversations last night with people, and full disclosure, I didn't watch Everywhere All at Once. I didn't watch most of the movies nominated this year. One of the only movies that I watched that was nominated this year is literally Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I supported that movie with my money because I'm a comic book fan. I like Angela Bassett. I like the Black Panther, even though the Black Panther wasn't necessarily in the movie. That shows you where I put my money. So I didn't go shill out my own money to go see Everywhere All at Once or any of these other movies. I went and spent my hard-earned money to go see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Now, the movie was not that great. It was entertaining for me in the moment, but it was not a great movie. And as someone who's watched the Oscars for years, which I haven't over the last couple of years, I mean, comic book movies rarely get nominated. I mean, you may get like best visual effects or costume designs, and even that is rare. But for a supporting actor or actress or leading actor or actress to win an award for a comic book movie, that basically never ever happens. They don't even get nominated. You know, last year was a crazy moment when Joaquin Phoenix won for the Joker. And in many ways, that movie wasn't really a comic book movie. Yes, it was based on a comic book character, but really it was like Taxi Driver. It was a remake of other great movies in the past for the most part. So for her to even be nominated, I think that's a big step when it comes to superhero movies and things like that. But let's be honest here. I don't know about these other people's performances in these movies, full disclosure. But there was nothing about Angela Bassett's performance or nothing about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever that would suggest that anyone acting in that movie should get an award for it. I mean, it's laughable to think that they would win an award for it, let alone a freaking Oscar. But as I got into conversations and I looked at the conversations surrounding this situation last night, it was easy for me to see that no one was arguing that Angela Bassett did a better job or that Angela Bassett's performance was better. And for the most part, it didn't seem like any of these people even watched the other movies either. So the only reason why they were saying that Angela Bassett was snubbed and entitled to win this Oscar was simply because the color of her skin. Cut and dry. It's not Angela Bassett's performance was so wonderful, because it wasn't. That would be a lie, and the movie was not good at all. It's just, we live in this woke modern era. Therefore, if a white person wins an award over a black person, it's racist. If a straight person wins an award over someone who dresses up like a girl and pretends to be a woman, it's phobic. That is where we are headed. And I don't know if that mentality has seeped into Angela Bassett, and maybe that's why she felt jaded in the moment. It wouldn't surprise me, but like I said, I'm not focusing my energy on Angela Bassett. I'm focusing my energy on society and this woke modern day mentality of, people are entitled to things simply because their skin color or simply because of their sexuality. And that's what we're dealing with here 100%. And I mean, just for a moment, think of that mentality and let it brew in your mind for just a second. And you would realize that in all actuality is a racist mentality. To think that someone is entitled to an award or an accolade or entitled to anything simply because, or entitled to something over someone else because of the color of their skin. I mean, that is a classic example of racism. But it just goes to show that this whole movement for equity, equality, diversity, all of that stuff, it's all the real racists who are spewing those talking points, okay? We've had equality. We've had diversity. We've had representation. Maybe some can argue that maybe we should have more. And if that's the case, then make things with more diversity. Nothing wrong with that. But I grew up in the 90s. You're not going to gaslight me into thinking that there wasn't diversity. Most of the shows that I watched growing up had either all black cast or they had minorities in the cast. This is not some new phenomenon. Yet Hollywood wants to virtue signal and act as if just now they're including people of color and people of different sexualities in movies and televisions, when it's not the case. And it's a racist mentality to just crap on and forget everyone that came before you so you can pretend like you're the first person to do something. But that's the mentality that is here. And if you don't believe me, go look at the online discourse. People are only using this as an open season, an open invitation to be racist towards white people like they usually are on the internet anyway. I mean, for real, go on Twitter and see what people say. They're using it to basically trash Jamie Lee Curtis because of her skin color while propping up Angela Bassett because of her skin color. And you know, I'm not even here to defend Jamie Lee Curtis. I like a lot of movies that Jamie Lee Curtis is in. I'm also a big Halloween Michael Myers fan. So Jamie Lee Curtis has always, or her performances and stuff, they've always been close to me, if you will. But I have a personal beef with Jamie Lee Curtis because I was supposed to be in Halloween Ends. Not a big role, just an extra. But Jamie Lee Curtis is responsible for me not being in that movie. Or she's largely responsible for me not being in that movie due to my vaccination status. So I'm definitely not here to defend Jamie Lee Curtis. And all in all, Jamie Lee Curtis has been leaving a terrible taste in my mouth over the last few years. But the only argument I saw one person bring up was that Angela Bassett, she's 64 years old and she's had this whole long career of doing this and that. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. I've followed her career closer than most people. But Jamie Lee Curtis is 64 as well, and she's done just as much in the movie industry. I don't think this award is here for what you've done in the past. It's for the movie in question, and I can't speak for everything everywhere all at once, but everyone seems to like that movie, whereas Wakanda Forever, people crapped on that movie because that movie was not that great. And typically you don't win awards for movies that aren't that great, even if your performance is solid. But make no mistake about it, most of these people complaining online about this topic, they don't care about the movies, they don't care about the awards, they don't care about the Oscars. They only want to virtue signal. They patiently wait every day of their lives, patiently by the computer, on social media, just waiting for something that they can label racist, so they can clutch their pearls, and they can virtue signal, and get a couple of likes and clicks and reshares online. That's how desperate these people are. And make no mistake about it, they're thirsty and they're thirsty and they're waiting eagerly to be as racist as possible towards white people. But the fact is, half of these people are white themselves. So it's really an all-around stupid situation. And let's be honest, if this is everyone's main takeaway from the Oscars, then do we even need an Oscars? I understand that Angela Bassett could have acted better, right, in this moment, in my opinion. And some people will say Angela Bassett deserved the award, even though we all know that's not necessarily true, at least in this situation, right? But regardless of where you fall in that, when you look at the clip that everyone's talking about, it's really people making a lot out of nothing. It just goes to show that the Oscars is totally unneeded. We don't care about Hollywood anymore. Hollywood is crumbling. The facade is crumbling. We all know, or most of us know, that these people are huge bags of crap. You know what I mean? So the only takeaway people have is that Angela Bassett, for a split second, didn't clap and had a look on her face when someone else won an award over her. You know what I mean? So really, in reality, it's like, why are we even here in the first place? Let's go ahead and stop having these award shows so we can stop having these needless discussions every time someone gets mad that a black person or a Latino or a gay person didn't win an award when they thought they were supposed to, simply because their sexuality and their skin color, I guess, makes them more deserving of something over someone else. It's total bogus BS. But make no mistake about it, it's all rooted in racism And the real racists are the ones out here hollering that everyone else is racist. I find it ironic that people say that Angela Bassett did not win this award for racism, then meanwhile they go online and spew a bunch of racist rhetoric towards other people that have nothing to do with any of this, because at the end of the day, most of us don't care about these award shows anymore anyway. But let me know your thoughts about this down in the comment section. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. And I'll talk to you all in the next video.